It's an off week at the PLC lab, which doesn't actually mean I get an off week. It means that we do repairs and improvements this week. And yeah, we had, good class last week. Couple unplanned learning opportunities, really interesting networking issue came up. May get to that today. Here's the challenge for me. It's not good enough just to make it disappear. Now that I had that unplanned learning opportunity, what pretty much happened was everybody's power flexes started disconnecting from the PLCs. And it was my fault. I actually was flooding the network with traffic. But yeah, now I got to figure out how to replicate it in a timely manner. That way we can learn about it. Also having trouble with these fittings on the Rogue rig because they are metal against plastic and they are gaulding up. So yeah, I know you probably don't take yours on and off 26 times a year, but if you do, then the easiest fix is some Vaseline. So we're gonna take some Vaseline and just put it around that fitting there. Just wad it on really good. As you take a gaulded up fitting and then you take an impatient technician, and yeah, these were getting torn all up. Of course, now my hands are too slick to frickin' put the fitting back on. Oh yeah, that goes right on now. That's much, much better. Also got the unfamiliar machine back going, and yeah, this one's turning into a really interesting project. I'm kind of getting excited about it. If you hadn't been following along, this did have a compact guard Logix PLC in it, and we're converting it over to Siemens and Profinet. So that in itself has been really interesting. But if you haven't been to my class before, you would have no way of knowing, but the unfamiliar machine was designed to replicate someone's first project. So it's not written to be an optimal program. It's written to be a typical newcomer program. That way, as we simulate breaks, you can kind of see the pitfalls of different programming methods. Now, to just put a twist on it, and actually, I was talking to Jason Watts. If you don't know Jason Watts, he's a Siemens guy over here on YouTube. You ought to check him out. But he's always like, yeah, look at people who's converted Allen Bradley programs to Siemens programs, and they're Allen Bradley programs. And I'm always like, what are they thinking? Well, what did I do? I had Michael convert the Rogue rig with only Allen Bradley knowledge to TIA Portal. So that will be a really interesting thing. And he did a good job. He got everything working but the PID. And I think probably with a little help, he probably could have got that working, but I went ahead and got the PID working. And we press our safety reset button. Get a little blinkety blink light. Have to check out why he has a fault light coming on. I don't believe there is a fault right now. Then if I can manage to hold the camera and manage to press the two buttons at the same time. And yeah, valve did not open up. Just sitting here bragging on them, and darn, it isn't working. Well, I bet I know what it is. And he probably couldn't follow quite the code that's in here for this one part. As I hit the valve in manual, the valve does work. And I bet you when I switch it back, it's gonna do a little funky thing. It's gonna kick over here and back down, and it shouldn't. Yep, it should be going the other way, but yeah, it's gonna come up. And then it's gonna come back down. It's kind of a little lost. But yeah, I'll walk them through that. And now, if I manage to reach my fingers down, hold the phone, and press the two buttons at the same time again, and yeah, valves open it up. And yeah, it comes up really smoothly up to 9-ish. And then it should drop down to a second setting of about 7-ish. And then the valve will start closing. And here's where y'all are always asking which one's better. I mean, it's not a matter of which one's better as far as Allen Bradley or Siemens. It's a matter of, well, one, which one is the plant currently using? I mean, do not go into a 100% Siemens plant and put an Allen Bradley PLC. I did that one time, and that thing ran great, and they never did accept it. And so, I mean, that's like somebody just asked the other day, what PLC should they start learning on? And, I immediately said, well, what's popular area? And they said, well, it's all Allen Bradley. And then somebody get an Automation Direct PLC. There's nothing against Automation Direct PLC when I tell them no. It's just that if everything around you is Allen Bradley, you need to learn Allen Bradley. But where was I even going with that? Totally lost my train of thought on it. Oh yeah. One really cool feature. I mean, and I'm getting ready to do a series, and really it isn't, I got to come up with a name. It's not Studio 5000 versus TIA Portal. It is more of, hey, let's learn the relationship between the two of them. But one thing I was really impressed with on the Siemens was the PID tuning. It was really good. I guess that's the word I should use. So, well, and I can't hide facts. It's not even Rockwell's problem. This motor here is 50 times too large to do the job. So it is a really difficult machine to tune. But I was surprised Siemens Auto Tune actually did it. It did take me a couple of tries of understanding, and I probably had to read a little more instructions than you would for a typical tuning. But yeah, I mean, everything you see there was no manual tweaking done to that. So that was really impressive. Got this one. This is our motor starter trainer, and got it switched over to a Schneider drive, so it'll be the same drive as over there. This one here, actually, when I have 3 of them in here in the end, that one over there is doing Profinet. This one's going to be set up on Modbus TCP. This did have that PowerFlex 525 on it, but a lot of you have been asking about how can we just take a drive and pull it into ignition and start doing some current monitoring on it, or maybe not ignition, whatever software you're using. I'm going to do ignition on this video. But the only thing with the PowerFlex 525, it's really cool. It's Ethernet IP, but it requires some type of PLC, something to actually read the data. Ignition can't do that. But this one being Modbus TCP right out of the box, it can. So that'll be the whole goal with this one. Of course, off week, you also got to take care of this whole shelf, and so we can get some trainers put together. But what I'm really excited for this week is this room, which half of it you will recognize because, yeah, this half has been here. This is the classroom that we've been doing a lot of classes, pneumatic classes, sensor classes, ignition classes, all types of cool things. And the issue is we've oversold every single class that we've had over here. And these, unlike our main in-person training where we do it every other week, these are not as often. So we've had to turn a lot of people away from these classes. So we had 3 offices over here that we were kind of debating on what to do with. You can even kind of see the line in the carpet right there. And we were finally like, okay, we're not doing anything with those offices. So we are going to go ahead and knock these walls down. So also, I got to get some lights in because only half of our lights are working. And yeah, I want to go ahead and replace them with these same lights because everybody that comes here refuses to realize that they need glasses, including me. And so yeah, we need lots of light. We're sitting here just reading through YouTube and LinkedIn comments about a picture I posted last week while I waited on everybody to get here because yeah, probably don't need to fall up the ladder without anybody here. But yeah, I posted this picture, or not this picture, but one like it this past week, and really just, because every time there's a certain group that every time y'all see a picture of anything in the training center, you're just like, you need to teach them this, you need to teach them that, you need to teach them this. Okay, what are you teaching them? But I kind of went on a little bit of rant, but I think the part that so many of us, and this includes a lot of our hiring managers, don't realize is we don't need to teach them everything before they get out in the field. Everyone's like, you need wire duct on that. You need to teach them how to tuck those wires and to do that right. No, I don't. This is a technician training class. We teach how do you troubleshoot machines? How do you understand syncing? How do you understand sourcing? How do you figure out how to wire them up? What's an NPN sensor? What's a PNP sensor? How do you go into the program and figure it out? How do you troubleshoot safety relays? Now, even then though, because some people are like, well, do you have a class just for panel building? I'm like, no, I don't. But there are several companies that actually send their panel builders here, even though they have no need to know about troubleshooting machines, because what y'all don't realize when you just tell them, you must do this, you must do that, this is how you do it, this is it. They don't know the why. Arguably, I probably teach more about tidy wiring with this wiring than I ever do with your well-manicured control panel, because they understand the why of labeling and the why of neatness by the time they get out of this class. That's why it's not by laziness, it is by design. Yeah, I can neatly wire something, but even there, you see there isn't a single wire label anywhere on it. That way they have to understand how to think through it if it's not there. And that way they understand the importance of labeling. But yes, I know how to label a wire. In fact, a lot of you probably will comment in this video, why do you have that on a slide? Well, when you're trying to design equipment for people to actually be able to gather around, then it needs to be on something like this. But yes, I am capable of labeling a panel, even though this one is not finished, because here you go. This is what takes so long, is I need to record a video on labeling, on component labeling for this one, and then heat shrinking everything down, tidying it up. Intentionally, this doesn't have a label on it because it was added later, so we can talk about how we need to go back and finish some items. But there are only so many hours in the day, and yeah, I need to get some lights in here. That way the people that, I'm gonna say it, really wanna learn, they can go ahead and sign up for the class and not be turned away from the class or being overbooked. Okay, let there be light. Oh, look at that. How's that work for all the blind folks out there? All right, and like that, we should end up with about twice the capacity. Well, for this particular, well, this is kind of the ignition setup. For ignition, it was 12 people. That should get us to 24, which we turned down 8. So I still got to find 4 more people for the next class, I guess. Which there's always something you forget. And yeah, I didn't think about, I need some Ethernet on this wall. And here we go, we got nice painted walls and time to poke some holes in it already.